chapter tightens motions and time. A body is said to be in motions if it changes its positions with change in time. There are 4 types of the motions we can discuss. First one is the rectilinear motions. Motion in a straight line is called rectilinear motion. In another word, when an object moves along a straight line or a path, it is called rectilinear motions. Circular motion. A round part having the shape of a circle is called circular path, and when the object moves along the circular path, it is called circular motions. Rotatory motion. When an object turns or spins about a fixed axis, it is called rotatory motions. Periodic motion. The motions which repeat itself after regular interval of time is called periodic motions. Periodic motion is also called oscillatory motions. An object which takes a longer time to cover a certain distance is called slow, whereas another object which takes a shorter time to cover the same distance is said to be very fast. The distance moved by an object in a unit time is called the speed of the object. The slow-moving object is said to have a low speed, and a fast-moving object is said to have a high speed. Speed of an object is the distance traveled by it in unit time, and speed is equal to distance traveled by time taken. And here the distance traveled is equal to speed into time taken, and the time taken is equal to distance traveled by the speed. So distance, time and speed, it is measured in the distance in meter, and time second, and the speed comes to meter per second, its unit. When the distance is meter, and we can measure in terms of minute, and that speed will be in the meter per minute, and centimeter in the for the shorter distance we measure in centimeter second, centimeter per second, and a longer distance kilometer in terms of hour, kilometer per hour, and kilometer per second also we can measure. So kilometer per second, its unit, it comes. For longer distance we can measure in the longer distance. So here it comes to instruments. In the dashboard of the vehicles, which indicates the speed of a vehicle it is running, is called as the speedometer. Speedometer, it keeps the speed. An odometer is an instrument for measuring the distance traveled by an object. So here the moving ball here, when we throw this moving ball here, it will cover some certain distance here. And this is their time covered by it. Objects such as the tortoise move at a very slow rate, and like the cheetah, they move at a very fast speed or at a very fast rate, and the object is said to be in the slow speed. The speed of an object helps us to decide which object is moving faster or slower. Object moving along a straight line or a path is said to have uniform motion if its speed remains constant. So here 0 to 4 meter, here 2 seconds it takes, and 4 to 8 meter it takes 2 seconds, 8 to 12 again it takes 2 seconds, and this is what examples. An object moving along a straight line or path is said to have non-uniform motion if its speed keeps changing. And the motion of a train, starting from a railway station, is an example of a non-uniform motion. The non-uniform motion in which the speed of an object keeps changing is also called accelerated motion. Distance time graph. If we draw a distance time graph between the distance and the time, so here it will get a constant. So for a uniform motions, here you will get a straight graph, straight line graph, if we plot a graph in this Cartesian plane. Now will comes here the distance time graph for the non-uniform motions. For the non-uniform motions, it is a curve a curved line graph you will get. But with change in time, the speed is not in uniform and a certain distance it will cover. So here the zero speed, the distance time graph for the zero speed, that is the object parked in the rod side on the place is a constant, and it is parallel to the x-axis or time axis. So distance time graph, it helps to determine the what are called the times that travels by an object. A bar graph is a diagram which shows information on the bar or thin rectangles of different shapes. A pie chart is a kind of graph or diagram which shows the percentage compositions of the data in the form of slice of the circle or whole circle representing 100%. And time is a moment or the duration in which the things occur. We measure time with the help of a clock or sundials. Okay. Sundial is an ancient instrument which is used to determine the time by changing the height or length of the shadow. With change of the time here, the shadow is also changed. The sundial measures the times by the positions of the shadow cast by the sun. Another instrument is that sand clock. Sand clock, also known as the sand glass, or this is the hourglass. So here it have the sand, and it also can be used to measure the time. And next is the water clock. Okay, we saw yet another time measuring device used in the ancient time. In the ancient time, here it is also used to determine the time or to measure the time. Unit of time. 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. The principle of the periodic motion is used for the measurements of the time. Clock and watch, which are used for measuring time, are based on the principle of the periodic motions. So here is the diagram with its support thread, bob, or it is called as the metal ball. It is a simple diagram of the pendulum. Okay, and when this pendulum is bring to the C, and when we leave it, it comes to A position and goes to the extreme right position, and again it comes to the A position, that is in the mean position it come back. So this is the to and fro motions of the pendulum. The length of the pendulum threads from the point of the suspension of the center of the bob is called length of the pendulum. Time period. The time taken by the pendulum bob to make one complete oscillation is called time period of the pendulum. Amplitude. As the pendulum oscillates or swing to and from, maximum displacement of the bob from its mean position on either side is called amplitude of the pendulum.